Gil Capps from the Golf Channel joins us now. Talk a little bit more about this very highly anticipated Masters, Gil, but some of the big names early on. I mean, we're just a couple hours in. We already have a couple big names floundering out there. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Hope you guys are. Hope you're able to get a little bit of work done here today. I'm not staring at excuse me, your computer screens or your TV now that it's on the air.
Well, we're trying to stay focused on the show and everything at hand here, but there's obviously we just talked about Sergio, who had a little tough time in the water over there. Looks like his 2018 Masters might be done. The defending champion might be irrelevant already.
Well, the incomparable Josh and I were talking right before it came on the air, and when you see a defending champion, see as great a player Sergio is, make a 13
wow.
on a hole. I don't know, right? Half of you feel sorry for him, and the other half, if you're kind of a duffer like a lot of us are who watch this, kind of feel glad because, hey, it could happen to me. It could also happen to the best players in the world, and that certainly would happen to Sergio there. 13 obviously ties the highest score ever made on any hole in the Masters tournament, and my one of the kind of the under radar guys coming in this week. You talk about the big names here. How often is it you have the defending champion really not get mentioned at all this week? Because we have so many storylines going into the week, and like Felix were joking too. When that happens, right? A lot of the times on the weekend, you get guys nobody talked about or nobody expected, and they're in contention. And maybe you wind up getting one of those to win because it's a very deep field, and you have guys who are very capable of winning this championship, who play well week in and week out. Nobody really, the course is playing tough today. First of all, I think the Masters tournament committee has got to feel pretty good about where it is. It's pretty firm, pretty fast, a little bit of wind out there. Got a few hole locations that are fairly tough too. The scoring isn't really great. Last time I checked, I think they had about 17 guys under par right now. Tiger, I guess we'll go ahead and touch on Tiger a little bit here. He's on the final hole, one hole to play here, and he's won over, as Pete said. The driver coming into this week, I think, was a big question for a lot of people with Tiger. You don't have to drive it perfect at Augusta National, but there's certain holes that you have to drive it really well. On other holes, you can get away with it. And Tiger today, 7 of 13 fairways so far before the last semester. What he's done on 18. If you would have told me that going in, I would have said, "Oh, that's kind of okay." But what did he do on the important holes? Well, we see some holes where he's been way off, like 11 and 15, and some of those have really cost him. Tiger, I don't think today birdied a single one of the par fives, and that is where he has really made his career at the Masters, almost every other golf tournament on the par fives. And to go through all the par fives today without a birdie is a little concerning. But one over, he's definitely not out of it.
Gil Capps from the Golf Channel. Now, ESPN has the early coverage. It goes to CBS. If you are a CBS executive right now and you see the way Tiger's playing and the defending champion's out, what are some of your storylines, hopefully, for Saturday with what you've seen so far?
Well, it's a long way to go. I wouldn't be too concerned yet about Tiger. He's, as we know, if every golf tournament was an 18-hole tournament, Tiger would have won probably about 25 times instead of 79 times. The cream will rise to the top a little more as we get to the weekend and get to Sunday. You got some guys up there who played really well today. One being Henrik Stenson, who right now is tied for the lead, a guy who hasn't had a ton of success around Augusta National. And one of the reasons is that he says he's played a lot of these holes too conservative. Now, conservative at Augusta National actually worked at one time, and it worked for Jack Nicklaus, the greatest golfer of all time. One of the things I learned in researching my book a few years ago was that Jack was, a pretty conservative player. At Augusta National, he thought the middle of the green wasn't a bad spot to be because it usually always left him a 20-foot birdie putt, and he hold a lot of those birdie putts. It's a little bit of a different game today with course conditions and equipment in the ball and where the game is played. So you have to really pick your spots to be aggressive and to be very aggressive. And Simpson had said going into this week that he thought that he needed to be more aggressive at this tournament. And if that's been the change, it's been a good change. 4 under par here with there's 3 holes to play, and he's a great ball striker and a guy who can get hot with the putter, even though putting's not his strength. It can be good enough to take home a green jacket.
Gil Capps with us, and that book is The Magnificent Masters, an excellent read. You can find him on Twitter at Gil Capps, CAPPS, and the Masters is underway. So, Gil, of some of those secondary names and some of the names that are out there still looking to put that green jacket on, say like maybe a Rory McIlroy who won, Rickie Fowler, who are some of the secondary names that you're looking at to maybe put the green jacket on Sunday?
Yeah, right now, those guys are kind of still right there. The one guy that I really kept coming back to of all the storylines coming into the week is Jordan Spieth. I think this golf course and Jordan Spieth are a perfect marriage, and Spieth has kind of been, I hate to use the word struggling, but I think he would call it struggling, and especially on the greens here the last 2 months or so. But Augusta is a place where it's a lot about feel, and I think you get to this place and you start putting by feel and instinct and not thinking too much about setup and about being technical. You're just getting the ball in the hole, and Spieth, off to a pretty good start here. He birdied 2 and birdied 3, and a bogey at 5, which is a very tough hole. But he's 1 under par now through 6, so he has a lot of holes to play. He is a guy who, personally, I think he's the guy to beat this week.
And I see other American names up there. Zach Johnson, a previous Masters winner. Tony Finau looked like he dislocated his elbow or his ankle in the par 3 contest yesterday, and he's 3 under through 10. Guess he's okay.
Well, if you haven't seen it and you have the stomach for things like that, you need to go online and you need to look at Tony Finau. You're right, Pete. And they had a hole-in-one yesterday in the par 3 contest. He was quite excited. Ran off the tee celebrating and twisted his ankle very badly to the point where it dislocated it, and you watch him pop it right back in. So he went, had it checked out, just a high ankle sprain. He got it taped up pretty good here today, and here he is out there. He is in 3rd place by himself, 3 under par through 10 holes. That's a remarkable story, and he's a really talented guy, and what a backstory he has, and he can hit the ball a mile. And he's one of those guys where, you think if he were to win any major championship or contest in a major championship, that Augusta National would be the one.
Hey, Gil, one guy that I'm a big fan of, and I know he's an exciting guy to watch, is Rickie Fowler, and he seems like he's always in contention. 2 years ago, he was playing really well. He seemed like he was right there in every major. How are we feeling about a more mature Fowler here in 2018?
Well, Rickie turns 30 later this year, and, we had him on NBC on some of these events here leading up to this week, and he was in contention going into the weekend a few times. And as my friend Johnny Miller likes to point out, you look at Rickie and you think that, man, he's probably won 10 times on tour, and he's only won 4 times. And part of the problem, for whatever reason, has been recently kind of closing the deal, and especially on weekends, really having a hard time closing out Sundays in particular. And why that is, I'm not really sure. You can, everybody kind of have guesses why it is, but he's got to get that fixed. He is, such a talented player, such a good guy, and that's the thing about Rickie Fowler. How much he does for the game, how popular he is, and when he wins a major, I think he will at some point win a major. It it won't be like Tiger if he wins one. But it would be about as big as anybody else winning a major, and what it would do for the sport and raising the level of the sport.
Yeah, and of course, everybody will be keeping their eye on Phil Mickelson, another guy who very popular to see as it starting to get. We talk about a more mature Rickie Fowler. We're starting to look at an older Phil all of a sudden.
Yeah, you look at Phil Mickelson, and the game has changed so much, over the years. And 47. That used to be, you were back at a Club Pro job somewhere, At 47 now, Phil doesn't look it right. But still, Jack Nicklaus remains the oldest player.
He's 47. Not when I look at Pete, who's 47. They don't look like they're the same.
they don't look alike.
Not quite.
Jack still is the oldest at 46 to win. So still, having success from here on in majors, he's doing in record territory already. I think 8 top 5 finishes since he's turned 40 in majors, and that's tied for the first all time with Nicklaus and Julius Burrows. And he's really been playing well. 20 consecutive rounds at par or better on tour coming into this week, and that's his longest stretch since 2004. So if he's going to get it done anywhere to the Masters, he knows the golf course. He's a lefty. He, of course, kind of favors lefty, and favors kind of what the game Phil likes to play. So this is an event where I would not be surprised to see Phil Mickelson contend in the Masters, for the next 5 to 8 years.
Talking with Gil Capps. Well, since Mike brought up the older guys, I see Vijay Singh's already in the house, the previous champion at -1. That's a pretty good round of golf. I always, Gil, look to see how Freddie Couples does, and if he makes the weekend. I've got a soft spot for Freddie Boom Boom from back in the day when he used to hit it longer than anybody. Is there another veteran name of that old guard that you think could make some noise? I see Bernhard Longer's name on there. I mean, is there somebody else in that age bracket that you wouldn't be surprised if they made some noise and actually made a little bit of a run?
No. There's no one that would surprise me if they put together a good round or two. But any of those guys you mentioned being in contention on Sunday afternoon, it would be a huge shock.
Gil Capps here, talking a little Masters golf. Round 1 underway. Tiger Woods is on 18 now. Mike Gill is at +1, trying to get into the house at only 1 over par.
Yeah, and I guess one other guy to kind of keep an eye on would be Rory McIlroy, who is the favorite in this one as well. So we'll keep an eye on that and all of the first-round action from the Masters today on the Sports Bash. Gil Capps from the Golf Channel will be following the entire Masters tournament, and Gil was kind enough to join us here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Thank you so much, Gil.
Pete, Mike, as always, great talking to you. Enjoy the golf.